Yes, we are going to talk about the assassination of Charles ONG'ONDO WERES, who was assassinated a few hours ago, the MP for Kasipul. But before we talk about the MP for Kasipul, let me talk about the constituency. Previously, the constituency used to be known as Kasipul Kabondo until when it was divided into two. It used to be called Kasipul Kabondo. In that constituency, there were two Luo sub-tribes. There were two Luo. I know some people will be shocked to hear that Luos have sub-tribes. There were two Luo sub-tribes. One is called Kasipul and the other one is called Kabondo. Now, whenever they used to elect people, this time Kasipul would give their person to be elected as MP, the other time Kabondo. Then there was a time when they didn't agree. And then Raila had to advise them to elect somebody called Jimmy Ahenda. To elect somebody called Jimmy Ahenda. Jimmy Ahenda is from Kasipul Kabondo, but he did not belong to the two sub-tribes. Jimmy Ahenda was from Siaya. But there are this Obama type here. You know, Obama, the president, is a Siayan South Nyanza. There are some groups of people from Siaya who crossed over the lake and settled in South Nyanza. Those include President Obama's grandfather and also the family of Jimmy Ahenda. So when there was tension between, the calculations didn't work. The calculation didn't work of whether Kasipul or Kabondo would have an MP. Then Raila saw that getting a person from Siaya, Jimmy Ahenda, would be a neutral person to remove the imbalance. But the fellow was so useless. The fellow was non-performer, such that by the time he completed his term, the two sub-tribes, Kasipul and Kabondo, had already agreed on whom to take. When we had a further constituency review, it came to a place where it was felt that the constituency be divided into two. When it was divided into two, one constituency, it was for me and you outsiders, we would say it would be easy because it belonged to two sub-tribes, the Kasipul and the Kabondo. Why don't we call this section Kasipul and call the other one Kabondo? But then one side that was demarcated was full of Kasipul people alone. And the other one had a lot of Kabondo people, but very few Kasipul. So the place where Charles Were represented until a few hours ago was called Kasipul. And the other area where remained was, instead of being called Kasipul Kabondo, it was given the name opposite, which is Kabondo Kasipul. I think Kabondo Kasipul is represented by a lady, if I'm not wrong. Now, I feel compelled to make a quick comment on his death as an expert on political assassinations in Kenya. I have to be very careful because at this early time, first and foremost, I have to be cognizant of the feelings of his immediate family and his electorate. I also have to be cognizant of the fact that this is very early. Commenting may be unwise due to various reasons. This is what I'm doing is just like when there is an accident, some people go to that accident scene where they interfere with what do you call the DNA profiling and whatever. But I may also unwittingly influence the investigations. Plus, we don't know the killers, isn't it? And they have access to social media. So I'm sure they would really want to scroll and see what is contained in the social media. So that is why I have to be very careful. But then again, ngoja ngoja, you don't know. It's just like campaigning for a political seat. Commenting very early is unwise, and commenting very late is unwise. Just like campaigning for a seat, if you campaign very early, it is unwise, and if you campaign very late, it's unwise. So the problem is, which is the appropriate time? Allow me to go straight to the point. Yes, this was an assassination. Facts as they stand, I can make a professional opinion that this is one of the most obvious political assassinations in Kenya's history. If we have to place all political assassinations with bunker points, it is even easier to say that all other political assassinations, you place their bunker points together, they may not even be equal to this particular one. This is so overt. He went public several times, especially the last 2 months, where he used to say that his life is in danger. The sub-county security committee has to answer a few questions. In public meetings, he used to say that people were after him. And he used to say, especially during funerals, he said that people used to be brought, and it was just openly that people would become this way and that. And he used to go to, yani, from where we are, or from where I'm recording this, it's quite far from Kasipul, Kabondo. Oh, it's quite far from Kabondo. But you'll find that if I just listen to the videos that he used to say, especially the last 2 months, I would just go there, and he would even mention the social places where these people used to regroup. He was fluent and mostly spoke in his vernacular, a language that I have a problem in understanding. But all my assessment are made in the few occasions that he used to speak in Kiswahili. He gave the impression that those who were after his life were after the seat. I remember even another time him telling them to start campaigning early for 2027, because he was sure that in 2027 he would beat them hands down. He said that they regularly met at a particular social place, and he used to mention that social place. He used to say that those doing so were mostly uh, interested in his seat and had assistance from Kisumu and Siaya, mostly Kisumu and then Siaya. But he could once or twice say that they even came from Nairobi. But when he said they came from Nairobi, he used to, if I have to give a mathematical table, just for the sake of you to understand, I would say that 60% came from Kisumu, 30% from Siaya, and 10% from Nairobi. So he used to give an impression that mostly these are hired goons, which were not even locals there, but who would come out to cause chaos during the funeral time. Kenyan system would just do what they have done a long time. I can predict the Inspector General will transfer the security committee, and that will be that. In a day or two, you'll find the Inspector General saying that he has transferred the OCPD and the DCIO, and there will be investigations. And when they say there will be investigations, it will take long, if at all it will take part, but in most cases, it will just end that way. I blame the NIS in the constituency or the sub-county. If where I am, I have all this knowledge, what of those people, the NIS who are on the ground? From where I am, I can use those videos, and I would get to the people he suspected, because he mentioned everything except naming names. From where I am, I can even tell you the restaurant that they used to meet regularly. And apart from bypassing Kasipul Kabondo, on my way to Kisii, the few occasions I've been to Kisii, I've been using the Oyugi Sondu Road. So those are the few occasions when I've been to Kasipul Kabondo. But he was just clear. The only thing that was missing was names. But he would say where they were meeting, he would say everything. It is there on the social media. It is very sad that he cried that his life was in danger for a very long time. In fact, 2 months. Yet, apparently, no action was taken. As far as I can recall, this is the clearest assassination, a political assassination Kenya has ever had. Yes, past assassinations have hints, but this one is the most clearest in Kenya's history, according to me. I've even said before a few minutes ago that if you place all the assassination and give them bunker points, if you join them all together, they will not even reach this one. In public meetings, he would fully express everything, but would hide the names of the people, especially those who financed his whatever. So he would mention the name of people who are after his life. He would not mention the name of the people after his life. And this means that the people who are organizing these people, goons from Kisumu, Siaya, and even Nairobi, were powerful people. For somebody like an MP, fearing the repercussion of naming somebody's name would be would mean a lot. It means that whoever was organizing that is very powerful financially and politically. Yes, another MP who was gunned down was Mushai. Mushai was also a go-to person. He was approaching and a roundabout. I think he was either the MP for Kikuyu or Kabete. He's the person who was also gunned this way. But I would say, and that is where some of my viewers we differ with them, I would say that grading them, Muchai's killers were not as professional as Were's killers. MPs, nearly all who have been assassinated, you mentioned them, J.M. Kariuki, Morara, Robert Ouko, etc., were all aware that they were to be assassinated. But no assassination, either attempt or even successful, was so obvious and for a very long time. You see, people like JM, the then mayor for Nakuru, Buru Gishua, approached him at Stag's Head Hotel and told him, be careful. But the case of this ONG'ONDO WERES, Sir Charles ONG'ONDO WERES, it was so obvious that he cried out for a long time, but people ignored him. Just wait until his burial day arrives. You will hear how people will say, how everybody will try to outshine another one by saying that no stone will be left unturned. That is what will happen. As for now, with the evidence that we have, Now, it is only possible to conclude that his death is political. It is very political. A person like Jacob Juma, the killers had to wait until he came out of CCTV area. But could the killers be having masks? We up to this time we have not had access to the CCTV there. Maybe they had a mask, or since they were on motorbike, then definitely they could be having helmets, and hence they had no fear. Chances of a motorcycle having a quick escape, especially during rush hour, are very high. So you can see at 7:30 he was killed at a time when there is a like I'm not so sure, but I think they waited until he reached the red light, and then that is when they shot him. Some people are even asking why didn't his bodyguard react or something like that and whatever. I can tell you that when you are watching football from the stands, you can always criticize the goalkeeper for letting an easy goal, or a striker who you can even blame a striker who had an easy way of scoring but hit widely. So those things may happen for somebody who has handled guns. I can tell you that some of these things may happen so fast that by the time the bodyguard realizes anything, the MP is already dead. And the people, you have to be there to see that. It is just like I said, if you're in the stadium and you are on the stands there, it is very easy to criticize. I want to tell people who will investigate this case, especially people from the Kasipul Kabondo area. Kachen Koda boy. Who is this Kachen Koda boy? This is the person he used to mention. Is that somebody's real name, or is it a nickname? If I were to be the DCI investigating that case, I would look for that Kachen Koda boy. Kachen Koda boy. And then again, you cannot say it is a coincidence. Just a few weeks ago, is it a few days, the MCA for West Kasipul survived an assassination attempt. Is there something there? Is there something from where we are or from where I am? I can see there is something in Kasipul Kabondo. But then those people who are paid by our taxpayers, the OCPD for the area, the DCIO, the NIS, the sub-county commissioner, they are paid good salary. They are paid good allowances. Why is it that hundreds of miles away from where they are, I can clearly see what is happening, and they are there and they are not seeing? It is quite unfair. It is quite unfair to the deceased, his family, friends, and relatives. That's all for today. Thank you.